What I think would be good to talk about is the psychology around this. Firstly, why does this affect particularly gay men? Why is it that we don't hear chemsex is an issue with the straight community? What is it about chemsex that's appealing to gay men?
Well, I think there are many reasons. One of them is that sex is very available. Normally, a straight guy, probably he's going to feel very horny, but he doesn't have probably an app that can allow you to be having sex with a stranger in 10 minutes. We are talking about drugs that are making people feel very confident, and there is lots of self-esteem issues in the gay community, lots of fear of rejection, of stigma, and internal homophobia. So there are these drugs that make you feel attractive and sexy, and this also normally gay people, of course, there's not everyone like this, but you don't have a wife, you don't have children. Yeah, maybe you have your partner and you have a dog, and maybe you adopted one guy, but normally not everyone is finding very easy to engage in relationships and intimacy. But we use sex so much sometimes to deal with loneliness, to meet people, because I have nothing else to do. And I think the straight community, they don't have these circumstances.
What I find interesting, when you were telling me the stories about inside a chemsex party, my outlook on this from what you've told me is that people deep down do not know how to have intimacy and connect with the people. So they're using chems to get that. It's not just about an enhancement of pleasure. It really is rooted in connection. Would you agree?
I agree with that, because 99% of the people who we see, they mention loneliness and connection in one way or another. Sometimes it's the reason why I start using chem, which is I broke up with my boyfriend. I was feeling very lonely. I started going on Grindr. I met this, I met that. One day I tried this, I tried that. And I started because I was feeling lonely. I was new in the city. I just came out. I didn't know anyone. Sometimes it's the biggest consequence, which is I don't have any friends anymore because all my friends pushed me away, because I let them down, because they are fed up, because I was asking them money, because I was lying to them, and now this is what I have. And many times it's the biggest obstacle. Every time I try to stop, the only people who I know are people who are using chems, and if I don't see them, I will be lonely, and I can't deal with that. So loneliness is always present in one way or another, and it's interesting because we all know, it doesn't matter if you do drugs or if you don't, we all know what loneliness is, and we all know how challenging that can be in certain moments in our life. And if you try something that is helping you to numb that, and you are struggling particularly with loneliness, you're going to be always more open to the idea of using regularly, because that's your way to deal with loneliness. And when we talk about loneliness, we also talk about intimacy. Of course, it's interesting. Sometimes people think the solution is if I had a boyfriend. It's funny because those who have a boyfriend, it's not stopping them from using. It's not that I'm in a relationship, I'm safe. No, there are many couples, they are doing chems together, or maybe they do whatever you like, and maybe I'm doing this, but you don't know. But when you are not in a relationship, you think, if I had a relationship. When you have a relationship, it's okay, I need to be hiding this, or maybe my boyfriend is pushing me to use and I don't want to use, but he's pushing me. Or maybe if I break up with my boyfriend, I'm actually looking for breaking up, because what I want is I want to be free. So I'm going to create. So it's always about what we don't have. It's interesting because people think, no, it's the reason why you want to have, because you want to have crazy sex. And I say, it's not true. It's loneliness and difficulties with connection. And it's, how easy sometimes in the community is you have someone who you're very close, but at some point you fall apart, you don't talk to that person anymore, but for a while you were really, really close. We are sister, and the next year, where is your sister? We don't talk to each other. And these kind of things, they are making the community full of very lonely people. And some of them, they know how to deal with that. Some of them, they never try drugs, and they have to deal with this in their own way. But sometimes people found this on their way, and I say, well, this is a very quick solution.
Because some of these drugs envelop you with a feeling of warmth and comfort, don't they? And I think that when that fades, that loneliness comes in, and you want that feeling again, and it's all very artificial, isn't it? And
it's horrible.
I think that when you have said that this is a problem that's only getting worse, I think that we have to look at loneliness and the digitization of our community is as a huge factor in that.
It's a huge thing. And even if you go to sometimes you go to sex parties thinking and praying, oh God, please allow me to meet someone nice. And maybe you go and you connect with someone, and you go during the week for dinner, and you think, what did I see this guy? I cannot see anything. But when you were high, and you are sometimes so desperate to connect this way, it's the most challenging story that we hear many times. They are about how people are dealing with loneliness, and they are talking from their heart, and they said, this is what I feel. What is making you go back to this? And I said, I can't deal with this anymore. I don't want to live like this.
I think that I have deep sympathy for the people who are caught up in it, because ultimately I do believe that it comes from loneliness, and it comes from a desire for connection. And I think that's something that we all have on different degrees.
Exactly.
And you never know in your life what might happen to you, where you might be in terms of aging or relationships falling apart. And it sounds like something that could affect any of us at any time in our darkest moments. So I think it's something that we should really empathize with those involved.
And I like that you say that, because is this so much judgment, and people are mean, and people are when we see this, and it's like, fuck, this is not a drug problem, this is not about crazy people, these people are really, really having a really the worst moments in their lives. The other day I went to this event in Vauxhall because they asked me to go and talk. How powerful for me. There was a break, and I think 6 or 7 people, they came to me saying, we were working together 10 years ago, you don't remember? I said, don't know who you are. And they said, I wouldn't be alive here without you. And I think, fuck, this is the most important thing. This is the thing. The thing is that I couldn't go and say, okay, so no one wants to do anything. And I said, what the fuck? If I'm going to die one day, and I want to die thinking I did what I could.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
you're doing amazing things,
well,
and it's always amazing to meet somebody that's had 2 lives almost, and you're taking what you've learned from the first part of your life that's inspired this part of your life, and you're helping so many people. So that's amazing.